Yes, so today I'm going to be talking about becoming the marketing automation node in the organization. So it's very much technical. I love working with marketing automation and different platforms. So I'm not going to tell you what you should do, but I'm going to tell you what we have done at Trustly and hopefully give you some tips and tricks on how you can implement that in your organization. So in short, or in a nutshell, I have 7+ years of B2B marketing automation experience, and I have been working mainly with Marketo and Pardot as marketing automation platforms. So everything from owning the system to executing campaigns and so on. A few keywords that describe me is curiosity, the main thing that actually got me into marketing automation. My current employer is Trustly. I have been there for almost a year and a half. And if you want to connect with me, here is a link. But yeah, if you want to brainstorm ideas after the presentation. On the agenda, I have 3 points that I would like to cover. It's short time, 20 minutes, but I'm going to try and make it happen. The first one is the importance of marketing automation, of marketing and pre-sales alignment. I'm sure you have heard about this over and over again. It's not a new topic, but I want to show you what we have done at Trustly to connect both teams. The second point is why you should challenge the marketing manager's approach before campaign launch, asking the what if questions or why don't we try this and so on. And the last point is excel in your work by having a sparring partner within your team or from another team. Before I continue with sharing examples and tips and tricks, I want to show you what platforms we are using. I'm not being sponsored by any of these. So our CRM platform is Salesforce and our marketing automation is Pardot. For webinars, we use GoToWebinar, Slack for communication, but it is connected with Pardot or with our marketing automation platform. We use Zapier a lot. It's a lifesaver and it saves a lot of time to automate things. Our sales team and pre-sales is using Calendly for booking meetings. And then we have Interact, which is a quiz platform. So when we do quizzes online, people can submit information and we pull that data into Pardot via Zapier. And then the platforms that you see on the other side are Pat Factory and Chili Piper, and these are the platforms we are looking into trying out. Yes, 2 familiar memes to most of you. I like to start the presentations with memes. This is like what marketing expects from sales. Follow up with all the leads that I give you. What have you done with them? And then we also have the other side. Yeah, it's a pretty funny one. Yes. So the silos that Jo mentioned in the first presentation is we have the marketing team, we have the sales team, and then how can we connect those teams? It doesn't mean that you should be one team together, but do the activities so that the 2 teams are gapped or breached, not gapped, breached. So the goal for both teams is to generate revenue. Marketing does their own thing, sales does their own thing, but what can we do as a team? So one of the examples that I have taken is when I started at Trustly, but also from my previous experience is, Maria, you're the marketing automation expert. Please build the lead lifecycle from your experience. I'm like, but I cannot do that. It's not a one-man show. It's like, I need to talk to other people. Like, what do they want? How do they see the lead lifecycle, right? Fine, that one is built. Let's just park it there. And then we have sales who are wondering, okay, so how do I get all these prospects? I mean, what are they doing in my view? What should I do with them? So to get to the team mindset, what we have done is first we initiated a workshop with both teams, with marketing and sales and pre-sales, talking about the grading, the scoring, the lead life cycle, asking what sales wants, what marketing wants, and just coming to the terms together. The second example is marketing thinks that sales should call all the prospects that marketing gives over to sales, right? that is the perfect scenario. But then we have sales who are pushing back, and it's like, but why? Why should I call them? I mean, are they hot enough? Are they our target audience? Are they our target companies, and so on? So then we need, or marketing needs to explain, or we have explained to sales like the different types of campaigns which are coming up, and then we have a marketing business manager who is responsible for specific verticals. So they explain to sales like, okay, this is a campaign that we are planning to do. This is the content we're trying to push out. So keep an eye on the prospects which are coming in, as they might be from the target audience. So it's share information. And then the last example I have taken is marketing constantly asks, have you reached out to all the prospects that have filled out the contact us form? Now, when you go to a website, you can see a lot of different forms, right? You see a form for gated download, you see a form for registering to a webinar, you see a form for contacting us, learning more, and so on. But sales don't know the different types of forms that we have, and each form is connected to a specific campaign. So without knowing that, sales will of course wonder, why should we? And to make it happen, or to explain, we have identified and defined what forms we're using on the website, but also what information we're asking in those forms in terms of first name, last name, email, but also other things, which I'm going to cover later. So looking at all the 3 topics from the team mindset, what we have done at Trustly, first for the workshop, since we're using Pardot has grading and scoring abilities or possibilities. So we have explained what grading is, what scoring is, what types of forms we currently have, what form fields are displayed in each form in particular, but also when should the prospects go to sales. Is it when they have filled out a specific form? Is it when they have reached out a specific grading and scoring criteria? Is it different segmentations? And then we pass them over to sales. But this is agreed with sales together, and pre-sales and marketing, so it's not just a one-man decision. The campaigns that we have identified are the ones that I already mentioned. So when a person fills out either of these forms, we have a flow that goes into a specific Salesforce campaign. And here we can track all the leads, what they have done in the campaign, the revenue, or the cost, the revenue, and so on. And the last but not least, it's one of my favorite features, and also tools. So Slack is part of Salesforce, and we have connected Pardot and Slack together. So Slack is amazing because we have a channel, and every time something is triggered, what we identify to be triggered, we push a notification to the Slack channel. Sales can go in there, they can see, okay, this person has done XYZ, should I follow up, should I not follow up? It's really up to them, but it's information in real time. So when they click on the Slack message, for example, they go to the prospect in Salesforce right away. So what I want to show in this one is that specific prospect has a lot of engagement history attached to him or to her, that sales can easily see what they have done, at what time, how long ago, and so on, so they can initiate a conversation with the prospect. Another initiative that we have currently taken, this is very new, is making it easier for sales to add prospects from Salesforce, because that's their main platform, to a Pardot visible list, where afterwards we create a nurture flow. You cannot really see the screen here, but we have a nurture flow with specific steps and actions that are taken and email sent from the salesperson's email address. Personalization. And we have seen 50% of response rate. So people reply to the emails sent from sales. I can talk about this for forever, so I need to move on to the next point, is why you should challenge the marketing's manager approach before a campaign launch. I have identified one case scenario, one of the many, though. Some of you might identify yourselves with this one. So when we have a third-party event, we have a contract with the event organizer. Can we get all the prospects from that particular event? And as soon as we have, with the consent and everything, the marketing manager wants to create a nurture flow to continue the conversation with the prospects. And when they say, Maria, I want to send 3 emails to these prospects, please help me out. This is what I think they want. It's a super flat or like a super straight flow. Wait 4 days, send an email. Wait 4 days, send another email, and so on. And then I'm not me if I don't ask questions. What if some of these prospects are already having an open opportunity with us? What if some of these prospects are already talking to somebody from sales? What if they have initiated a conversation? What if the person is mad with us and we should not contact them? So after asking all those what if questions, the program from a super straight flow turns out into a super complex one with a lot of checks, a lot of steps to identify who should get what. Another scenario that I have identified is the promotion of gated content, so to say, on LinkedIn. And the standard approach is fine, you have an ad, you click on the link, you get to a landing page with a form, and after the form is filled out, you get to a Salesforce campaign where we show you how many people have filled out the form, but also how many people have engaged with the content. And this is like a lot of clicks. So the person needs to do a lot of click on the LinkedIn, fill out the form, and then get to Salesforce. But then it's like, why don't we try something new? So LinkedIn has this very smooth LinkedIn lead generation forms. I'm not sure if you have used it, but if you haven't, please do. There is no direct integration with Pardot. It doesn't have a native integration, but we use Zapier for that. So it's super easy to just like push the ad. And then when they click download, everything is pre-populated in the LinkedIn form. And then we pass them over to the Salesforce campaign. So for this one, it's much easier to see who the target audience has, who from the target audience has filled out the form, because it ends up in a separate campaign. But the ones that I showed before enter or end up in another campaign. So we can measure the success of each. And the last point, which I want to show, is excel in your work by having a sparring partner. So I'm the only marketing automation person in Trustly. And it's very easy to be the one person knowing it all and just like, yeah, I have the experience. I know how to send an email. I know that the email has everything it needs to. So this is me. I looked at everything twice. But does it matter? No, because I always need to check my work with someone else. I can make mistakes. Everybody does make mistakes. Even if I have 20 years of experience in marketing automation, I can still make mistakes. So going back to the fear of failure, I'm not scared to fail. I always do something new, try to do something new, and challenge myself as well. So with that, I have sent a couple of emails without a CTA link, for example. And then I need to resend the email, and then the unsubscribes increase. So how do I make sure that this will not happen later on? I always send out the email to a couple of stakeholders or a couple of team members. So I make sure that they do quality assurance and give me, yes, Maria, everything looks good, send out the email. A lot of times, to save time, I copy an existing email that we already have, but then sometimes I forget to change the content. So I can just upload the image and change the image, but the content is the same. So yeah, that has happened a couple of times. Again, 4I principle or sometimes 6I principle helps. Recent scenario that we had was a webinar invitation sent out to 40,000 prospects from the database, including government officials and law enforcement. That was messy, but it was fixed at the end. Apology email came into the picture. So to avoid this mistake, please make sure the work is checked by 10 other people. And the last tip for this one is to always brainstorm whatever you want to do. So even if you're the only person working with marketing automation, make sure you talk to stakeholders, talk to the teams, double check your work. Even if somebody else don't understand what you want to do, make sure they listen to you and ask you questions. That's my tip for the excel in your work by having a sparring partner. But to summarize, the reason I chose becoming the marketing automation node in the organization is basically, so that's marketing automation, is because in order to make everything work, what I just explained from the examples, I need to be in constant communication with the marketing managers or the field marketing managers, with the salespeople, sales operations, our Salesforce team, designers, copywriters, with IT department to set up the technical stuff for Pardot, data analytics. So it's a lot of people that are involved to make sure that I do my job correctly. And to round it off, I even have more time.
Yes, 20.
Yes, yes. So, but that was me. Thank you so much for listening. QR code will lead you to my LinkedIn page, or if you want to connect. So yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It sounds really that you are a node in the organization.
Yeah, I want to be. I mean, I love talking to people. I love to ask questions. I like to be challenged. I like to challenge. So yeah.
Yeah, and test new things, and of
Yes.
course also risk that you fail.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the
and
favorite
that's
part.
okay. Right?
Yes.
Who is your who do you report to?
My manager is Jenny Beckman.
Yeah,
She
but
is
what's
the
the
head of
role?
digital.
Head of digital,
Yes.
not the marketing manager.
No.
No.
So she's the head of digital. She is super supportive. Even if I want to do something, she just like, go ahead. So I have her full trust, and thank you for that.
I'm amazed. I mean, you're a B2B company,
Yes.
even if you kind of cover users from the B2C area, I guess, but 40,000 people to send out invitations to, it was a huge number for a B2B company, or?
Yes. It is a huge number, but it was a colleague that did that from the US, and it was just in my first week when I started. But now it's like, yes, everything needs to go through me. So they have limits on how many prospects they can send an email to.
I guess a US colleague maybe think 40,000 is a low number. But
It's a huge number. I mean, I start to panic when it's like above 5,000. So, yeah.
Okay, I know there are questions from the audience, but I will ask some questions for one anyway. I ask the same question as I did for Jessica, actually. What is the most important value gained from your marketing automation, as you see?
I think it depends who you ask. If you ask me, it's the time it saves for a lot of activities.
So lower cost, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, you can say so. And it's also how many things can be automated just with one platform. But for that, you need to have a team also that wants to try out new things. Sometimes we get sales that work in Excel spreadsheets. I'm not going to use hate, but I don't like that. And it's like, yeah, first let me cherry pick the prospects, let me follow up with them, and then I'm going to create them in Salesforce or in the CRM. And I'm like, but why don't we just do it in Salesforce? You multi-select all of them, and you send one email, and boom, you don't need to go into one by one. So 3 hours is like 5 minutes. That's my favorite part, if you ask me.
Good. Questions from the audience? Daniel?
Yeah. I have a question here. How do you keep sales engaged throughout the longer term campaign? This person says his experience is that it is easy to get sales excited in a short run, but in a longer campaign they tend to lose interest.
Yeah, so it depends on the type of campaign. For us, one campaign depends if we market a white paper, it's like maybe 2-3 months, 6 months. If it's a webinar, it's a very short one. But with the prospects that we have from the event or the webinar, we try to engage them in a longer term. So we do send notifications when a specific action happens in the nurture flow. We can notify sales when the person clicks a link or when they fill out a form. So going into the technical things is like sending notifications to sales when an action is taken by the prospect that is valuable to sales.
Okay. Thanks. Several questions?
Yeah. Why do you use Slack to see Pardot activities when you can see them in Salesforce? Pros and cons.
Yes, yeah, I have an answer to that. So in Slack, everything is instant. It happens in the real time. So if a person fills out a form, I can notify the Slack channel that a person has filled out a form. But if it goes to in Salesforce, it will take some time for sales to get to see that a person has filled out a form. Plus, you need to go into each person individually. But in Slack, you have everything in there. So you can just click on the prospect and see the rest of the activity. Good question.
And good answer.
Thank you.
You know everything. About organization then, you are the only one, as you said today,
Yes.
but do you, I mean, it sounds like you are very effective, but do you have any plans for the company to add on people in the organization?
Yes. So I mean, it's not about adding people. We have our marketing managers, or we have, I don't know, pre-sales who can jump in to execute on some small tasks, for example. And you might wonder if I have vacation. Then yeah, I do have vacation, and I'm switched off during vacation, so nothing bad goes wrong with the marketing automation.
Okay. And what types of roles do you see then for the future?
For the future would be a campaign manager, or a person that executes on campaigns requested by the business marketing managers, more on the pre-sale side, to be more involved into the marketing automation platform, as in build, nurture flows, and so on. So yeah.
As you're coming from a B2B company, I
Yes.
know when we're doing e-commerce activities and events and so on, we usually talk about that B2B as lagging behind B2C in terms of the way they're doing e-commerce. But what about marketing automation? Do you feel that it's not the same there, or is it that you are behind? I mean, not you as Trustly, but yeah, B2B compared to B2C companies.
I don't have any experience in B2C or marketing automation within the B2C space. So it's a bit difficult for me to say, yes, it is better, or no, it is not better. I mean, you do different kinds of personalization with B2C, or what Rasmus has explained. But for B2B, the personalization that we do at the moment is either targeting the specific audience on LinkedIn, for example, or maybe we use a specific information from the person in emails and making it dynamic content, so to say. But from personalization perspective, I think B2C is ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
as
my
you said,
knowledge is
maybe
very limited on the B2C side, so I
Yeah.
cannot really say much.
several questions? No.
Yeah, one last one. How do you solve the problem with the link clickers when you're sending out mail? I guess, like
Link.
it probably you've maybe heard about the houses that automatically clicks on mails.
Yes, we see that, and we don't have a workaround on that process, so we consider that as a click.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So last question, challenges.
Yes.
What do you see as challenges for you in this area?
It's a lot of challenges. It's
Major one.
convincing. It's the whole organization. So when there is an idea that I have in my head, or somebody else, it takes some time for that idea to be executed or to be tried out. It's the lack of knowledge in the organization for marketing automation, or what it can do, or marketing overall. So that is something that, I mean, we need to utilize marketing automation even more for all kinds of things, like be it product updates, be it newsletters, be it monthly updates, or blog posts, blog updates, and so on. So I would say that is one of the challenge. The other one is a lot of activities for a very limited amount of people. So we have a lot of ideas, but we're a small team. Those are the ones that I can think of now. But after this is over, I probably get new ones, you know.
Thank you very
you.
much, Maria, for
Thank you.
sharing all the experiences.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so now it's a bumper again. I always say